25 minutes before 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Friday morning. It's time for News Bites. This is the portion of AM Ocala Live where we read the news. Simple as that. Robin McLean and I will do that in just a moment. We'll take the stories from around the world, around the nation, around the state, and around town, and we'll shorten those stories. We'll get to the point, cut to the chase, give you an idea of what the story is about, and then move on to the next one. It's a way for you to catch up on the news without spending all day doing so. And we'll also, of course, tell you the news agency we're reading the story from so that you can go online and read the details for yourself if, in fact, that's what you want to do. And I will take the first story here. Oh, my goodness, I had it lined up and it went away. Hold on, I gotta click on it again. Actually, it's a weather story. This is from ABC News. I'm sorry, it's from the Associated Press. ABC News is carrying it. More spring thunderstorms delivered hail and triggered tornado sirens in Colorado yesterday as hailstorms, small tornadoes, and strong winds hit states in the west and the northeast. In Colorado, heavy hail briefly pounded downtown Denver, and more hail was reported in Red Feather Lakes northwest of Fort Collins. Campers in the campground of Bel Air near Red Feather Lakes were evacuated after hundreds of trees were knocked down, blocking roads into the campground as the Memorial Day holiday weekend got underway. There were no reports of injuries. The National Weather Service has not confirmed if a tornado touched down in the area. The area was under a tornado warning earlier in the day. Fans watching the Colorado Rockies play the San Francisco Giants at Coors Field were told to seek safety in a lower concourse as tornado sirens wailed there. The tornado warning soon expired. Several incoming flights to Denver International Airport were also delayed to let the storm pass, according to airport spokesman Heath Montgomery.
Prompted by the shortages of available drugs for lethal injections, Wyoming lawmakers are considering changing state law to permit the execution of condemned inmates by firing squad. A Wyoming legislative committee has directed its staff to draft a firing squad bill for consideration ahead of next year's legislative session starting in January. Lawmakers in Utah also may consider a return to firing squads for civilian executions. A Republican state lawmaker there recently announced that he intends to introduce firing squad legislation in his state's next legislative session in January as well. Reported by CBS News.
And from the Associated Press, Tennessee has decided how it will respond to a nationwide scarcity of lethal injection drugs for death row inmates. They will use the electric chair. Republican Governor Bill Haslam signed a bill into law yesterday allowing the state to electrocute death row inmates in the event prisons are unable to obtain the drugs, which have become more and more scarce following a European-led boycott of drug sales for executions. Tennessee lawmakers overwhelmingly passed the electric chair legislation in April, with the Senate voting 23-3 and the House voting 68-13 in favor of the bill.
Half of the United States Senate has called on the NFL to order the owner of the Washington Redskins team to change its name, calling it a racial slur. In a letter to Commissioner Roger Goodell, the senator said the league can no longer ignore calls from Native American groups. President Barack Obama, an American football fan, has urged the Washington, D.C. team to consider changing it. But owner Daniel Snyder has refused, saying it honors Native Americans. And he has cited polling, he said, suggested the public opposed a name change, reported by the BBC. Gosh.
And if you're planning on having a Memorial Day cookout, you might want to pay attention to where the hamburger meat came from. The United States Department of Agriculture is disclosing the names of some of the retail stores that have received contaminated hamburger. Nearly 2 million pounds of ground beef were recalled by Wolverine Packing Company in Detroit on Monday after 11 people in 4 states got sick. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the contaminated meat may have been shipped to 10 states, including Florida, as well as Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Wisconsin, and North Dakota. The meat may have been sold in stores from the end of March till the start of May, so the contaminated beef is most likely not in stores right now after the voluntary recall. The worry now, it may be in people's freezers. Freezers do not kill E. coli. Heat kills the bacteria, so the instructions in the news article for grilling on Memorial Day include: number one, if you see pink inside of a burger this weekend, put it back on the grill. Only well-done hamburgers are going to be healthy, apparently. And use a meat thermometer to make sure your burger is cooked all the way through. Cook it to an internal temperature of 160 degrees Fahrenheit, at which E. coli will die. There is, by the way, just a subnote here, a list of the codes on the meat packages that will tell you for a fact if you have bad meat or not, at least in this story, as well as a list of stores. I won't read them on the air, but what I will do is kind of bookmark them for myself, and we'll put them on our Facebook page. Give us till about 12:30 maybe. We'll try to put that information on there for you.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has released its initial projections for the 2014 Atlantic hurricane season. After years of getting news about projections for above-average activity, the information released yesterday marked a change for what many would consider the better. Forecasters were calling for a season of normal to below normal activity. NOAA officials said they were expecting 8 to 13 named storms to form over the hurricane season, with between 3 to 6 of those storms becoming hurricanes. 1 or 2 of the hurricanes forecast for the season were forecast to become major hurricanes, according to NOAA. Forecasters said that a combination of factors, primarily an El Nino event coupled with near normal sea surface temperatures, would be working over the course of the season to damp down the formation and strengthening of tropical cyclones. That being said, forecasters caution that the information released yesterday was just an initial forecast and not the last word on the season. They also noted that it only takes one hurricane to turn a peaceful season into a nightmare for the unprepared. Their advice was for people in hurricane-prone areas to be ready for these storms of summer and not be caught off guard. Hurricane season begins June the 1st and ends November 30th, reported by the Florida News Network.
And this is from CNN. As protesters across the country call for the fast food chains to raise their wages, a number of companies have begun experimenting with new technology that could significantly reduce the number of restaurant workers in the years to come. Restaurant industry backers warn that a sharp rise in wages could be counterproductive, increasing the appeal of automation and putting more workers at risk of job loss. Faced with a $15 wage mandate, restaurants have to reduce the cost of service, blared an advertisement in the Wall Street Journal last year from the Employment Policies Institute, which supports corporate interests. Robots may be replacing fast food workers, according to the report. Again, I got the story from CNN.
Food manufacturer Lancel has issued a voluntary recall of over 7 tons of hummus due to concerns of listeria contamination. Texas health officials said they identified possible contamination in Target Archer Farms' traditional hummus, prompting Lancel to recall many of its hummus products sold at Trader Joe's, Target, and Giant Eagle. According to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the recall affects more than 14,800 pounds of hummus and dip products. This is reported by Fox News.
This is from ABC News. After canceling shows in Tokyo and Seoul, South Korea, since becoming ill last week, Paul McCartney's representative confirmed to ABC News that the singer was hospitalized for a virus. Since contracting a virus last week that led to the postponement of tour dates, Paul McCartney received successful medical treatment at a hospital in Tokyo, according to a statement from the rep. He will make a complete recovery and has been ordered to take a few days rest, unquote. The statement closing by thanking all of the fans who have reached out with kind words for the former Beatle, who is now 71 years old.
Maybe it was jet lag, but Aerosmith frontman Steven Tyler seemed to struggle to remember the lyric to his hit song Crazy this week when he joined in an impromptu sidewalk performance of the tune in Lithuania. In a video posted to YouTube, a disheveled Tyler is seen attempting to sing with two women playing an instrumental rendition of his band's 1994 hit on the violin and accordion. But all Tyler can seem to do is stand there and wail occasionally as the instrumentalists smile and play on. The performance brought moans and groans from Twitter users who felt the Lithuanian performers deserved better from the rock star. I don't know. That was a fun video.
It was a fun video, yeah.
I thought so.
From the Associated Press, Jessica Edgington became obsessed with skydiving when her parents bought her a jump for her 18th birthday. Now she's 32 years old. The Virginia resident has made more than 6,000 jumps and is competing for a spot on the U.S. parachute team. This week, she and about 75 others converged at Skydive City, a well-known drop zone about an hour north of downtown Tampa, for the United States Parachuting Association's Canopy Piloting National Championship. Canopy piloting is all about fast canopies and drama and high-speed action, said James Hayhurst, director of the competition for the U.S. Parachute Association. Canopy piloting is a subject of the skydiving sport, and those that practice it are called swoopers. And the only question I have, Robin, it says an hour north of Tampa. That's probably an hour south of us. Oh, Zephyr Hills.
Yeah, Zephyr Hills.
Zephyr Hills is where it is. There it is.
Spot.
Okay, I see it.
Office Depot is recalling 1.4 million black rolling office chairs after it received 153 reports of a broken part that caused at least one serious injury. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission says that the chair's seat plate weld can crack or break, separating the seat from its base. The Office Depot says that the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission says that Office Depot received 25 reports of injuries suffered by consumers, including a fractured back and hip, injuries to the back of the head, and bruises and scrapes. The Office Depot Gibson leather task chairs are armless and adjustable and have 5 wheels. They were made by companies based in Tehran and China and were sold at Office Depot stores and online from 2003 to 2012 for about $40 each, reported by CBS News.
And this is from MSNBC. O.J. Simpson's lawyers submitted a supersized appeal to the Nevada Supreme Court seeking the former football star's release from prison and a new trial in his 2007 Las Vegas armed robbery case. The lawyers met at midnight Wednesday, which was a deadline. They met the deadline on Wednesday to submit a request for them to review Simpson's claim that 2008 trial in Las Vegas was tainted by his fame and notoriety following his 1995 acquittal in Los Angeles in the deaths of his ex-wife and her friend. However, the document totaled 19,993 words. Court spokesman Michael Somomeyer said yesterday there was some 43% longer than the 14,000-word length limit that the court had set. It will be up to 7 justices to decide whether to accept it for filing and consideration. Until that time, the document was not made public. The court has not decided whether to hear oral arguments on the case.
Democrats in the House and Senate are pushing to spend $60 million for the Center for Disease Control and Prevention to research gun violence, rekindling a debate over whether political agendas taint these taxpayer-funded studies. The legislation, introduced by Senator Edward J. Markey, a Massachusetts Democrat, and Representative Carolyn Maloney, a New York Democrat, would provide $10 million a year for 6 years beginning in 2015 for the research. President Obama, who last year lifted the 17-year ban on studies of violence involving firearms, included $10 million for the research in his 2015 budget proposal. But that proposal went down along with the rest of Mr. Obama's spending plan in a crushing 413-2 defeat in the House, reported by the Washington Times.
And from United Press International, the news out of Washington says expect aliens in 20 years. Leading alien experts, and this is extraterrestrial aliens, leading alien experts arrived on Capitol Hill on Tuesday. Let's see. It says, with not tinfoil hats, but suits and ties, probably ones that little planets and spaceships on them. Okay, the writer was funny. The experts, scientists at the California-based Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence Institute, addressed Congress as part of a hearing hosted by the House Committee on Science, Space, and Technology. Specifically, the experts brought committee members up to speed on the ongoing search for alien life, not the little green people from the movies, but microbial life within our own solar system and intelligent life beyond. Scientists say expect that we'll see proof of alien life by the year 2034.
A key U.S. Senate panel has approved a plan that aims to build a new rocket engine in 5 years so the United States does not continue relying on Russia for access to space. The Senate Armed Services Committee, in a bipartisan fashion, approved the plan as part of the defense budget for the next fiscal year, virtually ensuring passage by the full Senate when it comes to the floor for a vote. The House Armed Service Committee has included a similarly aimed measure in its version of the defense bill that they passed earlier this month. The Senate's rocket initiative came in the form of an amendment offered by a senior member of the Armed Forces Committee and leader on space issues. Florida U.S. Senator Bill Nelson said bluntly that the measure was a way of making sure that the United States' access to space would not be something that depended on the moods of an increasingly problematic Vladimir Putin. While access to destinations like the International Space Station could be a concern after 2020, there are more immediate concerns. The U.S. military depends on the Russian-made RD-180 rocket engine to lift heavy satellites into Earth orbit. Just recently, a high-ranking Russian official threatened to end sales of the rocket engine for U.S. military use. The Senate committee's plan would effectively blunt that implied threat to the point of uselessness, reported by the Florida News Network.
And from CNN, the Federal Aviation Administration is investigating a near miss between two jets near Houston's George Bush Intercontinental Airport this month. The two planes were within about a mile of each other on May 9th, according to the FAA. The closed proximity between the two planes was 0.87 miles laterally and 400 feet vertically, about 2 miles southeast of the airport, according to the FAA. The incident involved United Airlines flights 601 and 437. Both had recently taken off.
On TLC's new series, Buying Naked, prospective home buyers go through the process of finding their dream home. There's just one difference. They're butt naked. Realtor Jackie Youngblood helps buyers shop for homes in Pasco County, Florida, home of the largest concentration of nudist communities in the nation. Buying Naked follows Youngblood and her clients as they discuss potential hazards a home may offer, such as countertop height and sharp corners that might otherwise not be a big deal to a clothed buyer. In a video clip released by the show, Youngblood teaches a young realtor how to handle selling houses to nudists. Producers and directors have to ensure that expert prop positioning and camera work are utilized to film the action. One tip for Youngblood and her co-workers: make sure you lead the clients up the stairs. Buying Naked premieres Saturday, June 28th at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on TLC, reported by the Associated Press.
Let's see. Okay, I think this is an update on the one yesterday. I don't think I'm repeating the same thing. Well, it sounds like I am, and maybe I am. It's from Fox News. A House committee has approved a proposal that would end door-to-door mail delivery for millions of Americans in favor of communal or curbside boxes. The House Oversight and Government Reform Committee approved the measure on an 18-13 party line vote on Wednesday. The bill would direct the U.S. Postal Service to convert 15 million addresses over the next decade to the less expensive but also less convenient delivery method. Democrats objected to the plan, and efforts in recent years to win its adoption have failed. And so that's either the same story from a different agency or it's a follow-up on yesterday's story.
The House yesterday passed legislation to end the National Security Agency's bulk collection of American phone records, the first legislative response to the disclosures by former NSA contractor Edward Snowden. Although the compromise measure was significantly watered down, in the words of Democrat Jan Schakowsky of Illinois, it passed by a vote of 303 to 120, with 9 members not voting. This is her quote: "We must not let the prefect be the enemy of the good." Dropped from the bill was a requirement for an independent public advocate on the Secret Intelligence Court that oversees the NSA, reported by CNS News.
And from the Associated Press, a still classified State Department email says that one of the first responses from the White House to the Benghazi attack was to contact YouTube to warn of the ramifications of allowing the posting of an anti-Islamic video, according to Representative Darrell Issa, the Republican chairman of the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee. The memo suggests that even as the attack was still underway and before the CIA began the process of compiling talking points on its analysis of what happened, the White House believed it was in retaliation for a controversial video. The subject line of the email, which was sent at 9:11 p.m. Eastern Time on the night of the attack, which was September 11th, 2012, is update on response to actions -Libya. The email was written hours before the attack was over. Issa has asked the White House to declassify and release the document. In the meantime, he has inserted a sentence from the email in the congressional record. Quote, "White House is reaching out to YouTube to advise ramification of the posting of the Pastor John video," the email reads, according to Issa.
The number of Americans applying for new unemployment benefits rose by 28,000 to 326,000, reversing the significant drop made in the last month. After reaching a 7-year low, jobless claims rose for the week ending May 17th and is higher than the 315,000 claims estimate made by economists surveyed by MarketWatch. Claims have been volatile the last few weeks on account of the timing of a late Easter holiday. Despite the rise last week, claims continue to hover near pre-recession levels as employers are cutting fewer jobs since the end of the downturn in 2009, reported by UPI.
And from MSNBC, Toyota issued 3 safety-related recalls yesterday, covering 430,500 vehicles sold in the United States, as the auto industry continued on pace for an all-time recall record this year. The largest of the 3 new recalls covers... The largest of the 3 new recalls covers 370,000 Toyota Sienna minivans sold between 2004 and 2011 model years and registered in colder climate states. The problem centers around corrosion that can be triggered by road salt and can cause the spare tire of the vans to fall off if their supporting cable rusts out. The tires are stored under the vehicle, and a foam splash protector in front of the spare tire carrier may actually carry wind up to it, allowing high concentrations of salt to build up and eventually corrode the spare tire carrier assembly.
Responding to numerous foreign media requests, staff at President Perez's residence yesterday allowed media representatives to see preparations in progress for the papal visit. Almost everywhere one turned, there were stands with the Pope's standard, the President's standard, and the national flag of Israel. Bolts of mismatched and slightly frayed red carpet were scattered in the grounds and in the main reception hall and unrolled for the cameras. Asked whether new carpets had been purchased for the Pope's visit, a member of the staff said new carpets were arriving, but not in time for Pope Francis to step on them, reported by the Jerusalem Post.
And from the Las Vegas Sun, the White House is condemning a bombing attack in Urumqi, China, calling it a, quote, despicable and outrageous act of violence against innocent civilians. President Barack Obama's press secretary, Jay Carney, issued a statement this morning expressing condolences and sympathies to the victims and their families. He said the United States, quote, resolutely opposes all forms of terrorism, unquote. Local Chinese officials said attackers hurled bombs from 2 SUVs that plowed through shoppers at a busy street market in Urumqi. located in China's volatile northwestern region of Xinjiang. All right, that's all the time we have for News Bites. We need to move forward, and Jim George is up next, and we'll do this again Monday. We do this each weekday, by the way. How many stories today, Robin?
26.
26. That's about average for us, right? We'll take a little break and be right back. Jim George is next. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Tennessee brings back the electric chair.
Lethal injection drugs for death row inmates are hard to come by amid a European-led boycott over whether the method of execution is still feasible or humane. And that's prompted Tennessee to plug the electric chair back in the case that the state can't find drugs.
Fox Radio's Jeff Manasso.
This also after last month's botched lethal injection in Oklahoma, where an inmate suffered a collapsed vein and later died of a heart attack. Experts say to expect legal challenges to Tennessee's new law.
Drivers of older Ram pickups with manual transmissions might want to pay attention to a probe. U.S. safety regulators investigating some 110,000 of them because they've gotten 3 complaints the engines can be started without the clutch being depressed. There was one fatal accident. And Paul McCartney said to be recovering after being hospitalized for a virus that caused him to postpone shows in Japan. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Now through Memorial Day, Performance Bicycle, the nation's largest online cycling retailer, is offering the craziest, most extreme deals in their 32-year history. It's Markdown Madness at performancebike.com. All bikes are on sale, up to 50% off, plus incredible savings on helmets, jerseys, shorts, shoes, parts, accessories. Thousands and thousands of items priced to sell out. Insane doorbusters, 50, 60, up to 70% off. Markdown Madness at performancebike.com runs through Memorial Day.
If you wear hiking boots to work and it's not Casual Friday, you love the outdoors. If you have a family recipe for s'mores, you love the outdoors. If you think campfire smoke should be sold as a perfume, you love the outdoors. And if you love the outdoors like we do, don't miss the REI Anniversary Sale, our biggest sale of the year. Save up to 30% on the best outdoor gear and clothing. The REI Anniversary Sale ends Memorial.
Attention passengers for Flight 1370. The plane has been delayed at its departure point and will be at least 2 hours late. We apologize for any inconvenience.
Are you serious? It took us over an hour to get here, 2 hours going through security and getting our tickets, and now we have to wait another 2 hours.
Yeah, it's beautiful here, but we're inside this overcrowded airport all day because the plane is stuck in bad weather.
This is the last time we ever do this. When we get back, we're going to Ocala Aviation and getting our pilot's license.
Yeah, we've been talking about that long enough. It's about time we did it. Then we could just fly ourselves and never have to deal with this mess again.
Right. No long lines, no full body groping security, no baggage checks.
Not to mention never losing your luggage. Remind me again why we haven't done that?
Well, we're idiots.
Oh, right.
Attention all passengers for Flight 1370. It looks like the plane is going to be delayed a little bit longer. The airline has lost the pilot's luggage. Isn't it time you got your pilot's license? Call Ocala Aviation today. 352-861-7484. That's 352-861-7484. Hey, you've earned it. Call today.
Your home is safe, or is it? AA Lock, Dock, and Security. The name has been a staple in Ocala since 1985. Do you have the right equipment in place to have peace of mind when you are at home or away? AA Lock, Dock, and Security has the right people to install and monitor your home or business. Call today for a free on-site security analysis. Call 867-1965. AA Lock, Dock, and Security, 219 Northwest 10th Street, 867-1965.
Hi, this is Sam Roberts with Air Ducts Heating and Air. I've been in the air conditioning business for years, but just recently my wife and I decided to open our own business. It's a difficult economic environment, but praise God, we've been doing just fine. And I'd like to take this time to thank all of my customers. I'd also like to invite you to give Air Ducts Heating and Air a try. You see, I don't have the high overhead of having 30 trucks on the road, dozens of employees, etc. and that means I can give you the absolute lowest rock bottom price on your new AC system. When you call Air Ducts Heating and Air,
304-6766. That's 304-6766.
I personally will come to your home and give you a free, no obligation in-home estimate. Air Ducts Heating and Air is a family-owned and operated business, and it'll be our pleasure to help keep your family comfortable.
Call today, 304-6766. That's 304-6766.
Call today for your free in-home estimate. License number CAC 1817288.
This is the Salvation Army, and I'm Major George Patterson to let you know that the Salvation Army is available 24 hours a day to provide help to anyone. We also have a family store at 120 Northwest 10th Street in Ocala. On Tuesday to Saturday from 9 to 4, you can do your shopping, or if you want to donate, you can call 352-732-4469, and we'll even pick up 352-732-4469. All funds generated by our store go into the programs here in Marion County to help the needy.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOC.